Child, Scholastic done went and lost their little mind. Oh my goodness, they done lost their minds. Hey y'all, it's Ashley Bookishrealm and I'm back with another video. So, I am here to talk a little bit about Scholastic today. If you have not been following the news or the news hasn't reached you yet, there is some interesting information coming out about Scholastic. The good old Scholastic Book Fair is not what it should be. So this story actually has been developing for a while. The news about it originally came out on social media in about September. So we are now in the middle of October, and the reason why it is being picked up, I think now by more major news outlets, is that Scholastic did come out with a statement, I believe this past Friday, saying that the news that was getting dispersed amongst communities was in fact true, and that they were in fact giving schools the options to opt in or opt out of their diverse titles. You did not hear that wrong, my friends. There is an opt-in or an opt-out of diverse titles. There's a lot to be said about what exactly is going on, and I'm going to try to keep my thoughts as concise as possible. There's a lot of different things coming out about this. Scholastic feels like they made the right decision. A lot of educators, authors alike are not happy about the decisions that they make. I personally, this is just my personal opinion, I'm also not happy about the decisions that they're making. So let's start with how this is a thing and why Scholastic did it. So basically, when schools go to request materials for Scholastic Book Fair, they are now being given an option to say that they want their diverse kind of set. So it's a set of books, I believe anywhere between 60 to 65 different titles. These titles, from what I have seen, I haven't seen the full list, I've only seen a handful that have been mentioned in different articles, are very interesting, and these are the titles that Scholastic has deemed controversial enough to pull them because of the laws that are being passed in different states when it comes to book content. Some of these books are merely books about historical figures, literally about historical figures. Some of them are books like Read a Crayon Story, which is a look at gender identity. Some of these are literally just, I don't want to say regular books because I don't feel like that's the right term, but they're just books that have diversity in them, to be honest with you. There's no explicit content, no profanity, nothing. They're all age appropriate, but Scholastic felt the need to pull these books and put them into a separate category because they felt like they were protecting educators from the laws that have been passed, and they did not want anyone to face any trouble because parents would not be there to supervise what their kids were purchasing. Let me tell you something, because I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rip them a new one real quick. Okay, one, I feel like by making this decision, Scholastic is giving in to what people who actively engage in book challenging and book banning want. Okay, they want a lack of access to these materials. So these kids who are Black, brown, have different experiences, disabled, kids that are queer, we're just going to remove their stories so that they don't have access to them to be able to see themselves. You're pandering for those people. This is not about protection. This is about saving yourself. And whether it is intentional or not, you are pacifying the people who do not want to allow individuals to have the freedom to read. It makes absolutely no sense. And I will point out that Brave Books, which is the same that Kirk Cameron, it's the same publisher that Kirk Cameron works for, under, with, whatever, they called for a complete cancellation of Scholastic book fairs because of the fact that they don't believe that they have appropriate materials for kids, because there's too many books about sexual identity and gender fluidity, and it's dangerous for kids to be around those materials. I'm gonna keep it a buck 150 because I always keep it real with y'all on this channel. This move had nothing, in my opinion, to do with the safety of the teachers and educators. It had everything to do with, we know that Scholastic makes a lot of money from these book fairs, and I feel like it was a capitalistic, it was money motivated. I don't think it was any pure intentions behind it, and that's just my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. I don't think it has anything to do with the protection of educators, because at the end of the day, I'm a parent, right? If I send my kid with money to school, I send my kid to school with a $10 bill, correct? Right? My kid comes home, there's no money left, and I'm asking my kid, well, what did you buy? I can see the prices of the materials. So if my kid is effectively hiding something from me, one, that's a parenting issue within itself, because I as a parent don't want my child to feel like they have to hide anything from me. So there's that. Two, shouldn't the parent be actively engaged in what their child is purchasing with the money that they are providing to their child? I don't know. That's just a question. Without parent supervision. So your kid is going to a Scholastic book fair with your money as a parent, right? And they're spending your money. You know how much money you're giving your kid, which also means you effectively are going to know how much these books are costing. They send catalogs home with parents. So where are we protecting kids because parents aren't present, or protecting educators because parents aren't present? That's wild to me. That's absurd to me. The other thing about it here, who's selecting what books are controversial or not? What panel did they form? What is the criteria? How did you judge which books were controversial and which ones were not? Are you going off of a book list of books that have been commonly banned and challenged? Or are you just saying anything that has Black people in it, Native and Indigenous people, queer people in it, disabled people, we're just going to pull them out because it's going to cause too many issues? Who's deciding what goes and what stays? Because Scholastic came back and they made a statement and they said, oh, well, we still have diverse materials in our regular collection. This is just a special collection, and it gives more opportunity to showcase diverse titles. So how did you come to this number? I just want to know what the method was behind it. What was the method and procedure? What was your hypothesis? You know, did you take the necessary scientific method steps? Because I really want to know, how did you make this decision? Because when I saw a TikTok from a teacher about how she got her Scholastic book fair stuff, she opted in for the diverse kit, mind you, right? They didn't send it to her at all, not whatsoever. They sent her the regular kit, which she took video of, and it was primarily animals and white children. So what diversity? There was a handful of diverse titles from what I could see from the video itself, and then she didn't even get her diverse set on time. They were going to send it to her on the third day of the book fair, which means that the kids who had already been there had no access to diverse voices. I just don't understand what was the logic behind this. And then I read further and found out that these books, the diverse titles that they can opt in or opt out of, are not even included in the catalog that's sent home with parents. So we're literally trying to hide these books from people. You're engaging in censorship. I don't care what you're actively engaging in it. And you want to protect your financial assets. You want to do what's in the best interest of your company, and you don't want any drama. Keep it 100. You don't want drama. You don't want anybody to come for your pockets. And if that's how it is, baby, just say it. Stop playing these games with people. Stop trying to pretend like you care about the best interest of these educators and these kids, because if you did, offer the books. It's the parental responsibility. It is the parent's responsibility. And if a parent is not happy with the Scholastic book fair being there and they don't want their kids exposed to it, have the kid opt out of attending. How about that? It's ridiculous that you would even give someone the option of opt in or opt out of including diverse titles. Like, what world, y'all, at this point? I'm so actively confused, because I just want to know, like, what world are we living in right now where someone literally sat in a boardroom and said, we're going to make this move. And they said, oh, we consulted schools and they felt like it was the best move. Who did you talk to? Who did you speak to and what did they look like? Because the main people who keep making these decisions about what should and should not be included for diversity are not people who look like me at all. So I'm confused. I just want to know how this decision came to a head. I don't know. Well, I shouldn't say I don't know. I know because they've said it. Scholastic is not going to go back on their decision. They feel like the decision they made was in the best interest of everyone, to the point that you have authors like Jacqueline Woodson saying, it's time. What's another book fair that we can bring in? Because at this point, that's ridiculous. How could you actively make a decision like that? And like I keep going back to, the titles that I saw on the list were just mind-boggling. I feel like, let me tell you what's wild. That was one of the titles on the list from what I saw in one article. Really, y'all? Really? Really? I don't know where this is going to go, and this is the part of book banning and book challenging that I think makes me inevitably feel so defeated. It makes me feel defeated because Scholastic is one of the biggest publishers, so they claim, is one of the biggest publishers of children's lit. They distribute a lot of stuff that even I purchase on the back end. And when you have a company with that much power making moves like this, it's a big slap in the face that you don't give a fuck about these kids seeing themselves. You don't care. Because capitalism. Like, you want money in your pockets and you don't want the controversy. And that's sad, because I think that a kid being able to experience a variety of humans and their life experiences and their backgrounds is, I keep saying this, but it means so much to me, especially with this generation that is coming up. I'm so fearful of them not having the tools to build empathy. Reading diversely at a young age builds empathy. I'm telling you it does, because you see people from all walks of life, and it just helps you better navigate society. I don't know why people think that cutting off access to these books, cutting off access to these experiences is going to better prepare the children for working in a global society where people do not look like you, do not talk like you, do not have the same faith as you, do not have the same gender identity, do not have the same sexuality as you. They can't function. The world is full of diverse people. How are you going to be able to function if you continue to try to pretend as though these people don't exist? This was some of the most disappointing news I have gotten in terms of book banning and book challenging in the past couple weeks. This was very disappointing. It was very disappointing and very disheartening, and I am calling on Scholastic to do better. This was not a good decision. I don't care how much you think you're protecting people. It really comes across as though you're protecting your pockets. Intention versus impact, and your impact is trash. It is trash, because there's no way that there was no one in the room who said, you know, this is just not like, this is not a good look. This is we can't be doing this. We are pacifying and engaging. And, you know, when you have Pen America come out and say, like, listen, you're doing nothing but giving them the green light at this point. You are aiding and abetting at this point, and we implore that you find a different solution. You've got to find something better. I understand wanting to do the right thing by everyone, but actually, no, I don't. In this instance, I don't, because I think doing the right thing by everyone is having parents make the decisions for their kids. that's doing the right thing. Parents being parents is doing the right thing. And if you have a household where certain materials are not accepted in your household, when you give your child that money, your child should know what to buy and what not to buy. And if there's money spent that's not accounted for, then that's a conversation that you have with your child. But cutting off access to everyone to appease groups of people who can't stand anyone that's different from them, yeah, that's not sitting right in my spirit. I can't do that. All right, y'all. So I really there's so much that I want to say, but I don't really think it's appropriate for me to put on the internet at this time. So I am going to link some articles that you can check out where you can read more about what's happening. Let me know, like, if you knew about this. Now that you know, like, how are you feeling about it in the comments down below. Once again, it's tough reporting and not reporting because I'm not a journalist, but it's tough having these conversations about this stuff that's going on. But I think that the more aware we are, the more we push back, the more awareness that we raise, because the fact that a publisher is now involved in this it's eye-opening. It's very eye-opening. But as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're looking for ways to support the channel, all the links will be down in the description box below, and I will be back with another video soon, my friends.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all